What's up, guys? Just got home from work a little while ago. Feel like looking at the MLB slate a little earlier tonight. Come join me. All right, so
earlier tonight.
let's see if anyone's in here. Guys, there's a chat room on the main YouTube page, so check in. Let me know if there's people in here. Let me know if you're paying attention, how everyone's doing tonight. Just going to be bullshitting a little bit, looking into the slate tomorrow, going over a little bit of what the slate was tonight, kind of reviewing and backtracking on what some of the things that I mentioned earlier that either went right or wrong, what happened with my lineups, and I want to hear from you guys as well. If you want to come on video with me, just let me know, DM me, and I'll give you the link. I have no problem bringing anyone on if you want to come talk. I definitely want to look into, let's see what the early slate is looking like. Guys, how is everyone doing tonight? Anyone having trouble with MLB adjusting? What do you think about the new scoring? Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. Let's look at this slate right here. We have a 3-game early slate. I love early slates. They're by far my favorite. I like small slates in general, but the early ones are definitely at the top of my list. That's where I've won a lot of money in GPPs. So I'm just going to look over this real quick. I'm going to show you my screen so you just see what I'm looking at. Let me know if you have any questions on anything. All right, so we have Price, Keuchel, Syndergaard, Kluber, Tanaka, and Young pitching tomorrow. Price is an ace, but he's going against Cleveland, and I actually like Cleveland bats, but it seems that Brantley's out. He hits lefties and righties. Let's check it out. So we got Brantley on the DL, Chisenhall is out. So if we go by just looking at the position for Cleveland, we have Gomes, Carlos Santana, and Napoli. So if we have Price, it's probably going to be Napoli, I would assume. He's more of a platoon guy, but Carlos Santana is a switch hitter. And we have Kipnis. He's a lefty, and he had a really good year last year. He's a good player, a lot of patience. He was stroking. It looks like he's still hitting pretty well, so keep eyes on him. Juan Uribe, he was on the Dodgers. He's pretty good. He's a little bit older, but he does serve his purpose sometimes in like the middle to late of the lineup in the order, but he's at the bare minimum. Well, actually, the bare minimum is 2,000 now. So we got Lindor and Ramirez, and I like Lindor a lot. He's a nice upcoming player. This game log looks solid. I'm not going to say I'd be picking on Price in any way, but I actually don't really mind using Cleveland bats in general. Against righties, against lefties, doesn't really matter for the most part, but Price is definitely a stud. When it comes to the outfield, they need to find someone to take Brantley's place. If he's on the DL, it's only 15-day DL. Okay, that's not too bad. He got surgery in November. All right, Brantley has won me single-handedly more money than any other batter in the MLB, hands down, no doubt. Like if I had to chalk my MLB DFS career up to anybody, it would be Brantley. He's been so consistent for me and so reasonably priced for the last 2 years that there's no one else who I pick more than him. Let me know if you have any questions at all. I have no problem telling you guys any of my opinions. Let me know what you think. If anyone wants to come on the video with me, if you want to come on just to talk or actually ask questions if you don't know anything. I'll give you the link, no problem. All right, so let's go through Boston's lineup. Well, first we want to talk about Kluber. So Kluber is an ace. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He has problem with the defense not being that great and not giving him a lot of run support, but he is one of the best pitchers and has a very high K upside. And we'll go into the stats later or tomorrow morning or so. So looking at this, we got Blake Swihart and Hannigan. No idea who's going to play. I don't really know much about either of them. Swihart's a switch hitter. Hannigan is a right-handed batter. It looks like they've both been doing well. I don't know if that's like a Pittsburgh thing where yesterday they had Cervelli and Jaso as catchers. So that's something we'll have to see soon, but I doubt. I'm assuming they're just both catchers. We have Ortiz and Ramirez. Hanley, they both actually had pretty good seasons last year. Ortiz is basically done, I would assume. He basically just comes in where there's a weak righty most of the time when he's at home. He's got some pop left to him, but in terms of being just a solid hitter and taking extra bases and stuff, like you're not going to find that from him. Hanley's listed as a first baseman. Last year he was an outfielder. Not sure what's going to happen with that positioning. I assume Ortiz is going to be DH and Hanley will be playing first or something like that. Hanley looks like he's been starting off well. I don't like to take anybody against Kluber for the most part, but if I do, I'm not going to be taking righties. I'm most likely going to be taking lefties. Pedroia and Brock Holt. All right, so they had Brock Holt listed as a third baseman last year. I don't know if they'll be switching off because, I mean, they have two third basemen here, so they'll probably be switching off at second. But Pedroia is their guy. He's really good. He mashes lefties, but against Kluber, I wouldn't take him. We've got Brock Holt. I just wouldn't take him at all in this matchup. Travis Shaw, Pablo Sandoval. Wouldn't take either of them. If Shaw is starting, maybe I would look to him just as maybe a lower-owned guy. But on a three-game slate, you have to have a pretty perfect lineup or hit some stacks. So when I do stack, it's usually on the smaller slates. When I do look to stack, it's usually on the smaller slates. When I look through these slates, it looks like there's going to be some good pitching still. All right, everyone good? Okay, so shortstop is really where you'll find some decent plays, I think, for the day. Francisco Lindor is someone that I don't think I have a problem using against Price. Jose Ramirez, he's a switch hitter. I think he's better as a righty. I have to look up. I really got to refresh all of my stats and everything, but that'll come within like a week or two. I'll be good on everything again. Going to the outfield, we have Mookie Betts. He's a young stud. He is the highest priced in this game. He has stolen base upside. He has extra base upside. He will be one of the highest owned players on the slate, I would assume, even with – actually, let's see what the outfield's looking like for the whole slate. Yeah, he's the most expensive on the slate. That's pretty crazy when you have Cespedes and Kane out there who had really good years last year. But that just shows how much respect they have for Mookie, and he has been crushing it. So if you look right here, last season, he had 18 home runs, 46 walks, and 21 steals in only 145 games. That's good. That's pretty good, especially I'm pretty sure he was a rookie. If not, it's one of his first couple years in the league. Jackie Bradley, he came over last year and started hitting very well. It looks like the Red Sox have been hot in spring training. I know a lot of people don't put much weight into that, but they also don't – most people don't think that hot and cold streaks exist and things of that nature, and I believe very much in hot and cold streaks. I don't believe that everyone is always on a hot or a cold streak, but you can identify when they have been on one just by the way they're seeing the ball against different pitch types and different pitchers. If they're on, they're on. And in baseball, where you're expecting your player to get out the majority of the time, it's good to find people who are just locked in. And if you speak to athletes, you know that there is players get into zones. Sometimes, like with BVP type stuff, players just own other players in certain situations. So people who don't believe in any of that stuff, I think is a little foolish. To believe fully in it and swear by it is a little foolish. I'm right in the middle where I just try to identify any types of trends that I could find that benefit me with small edges in my favor. Didn't you to play Harper? Didn't tell you to play Harper. All right, if you watch baseball, you know Harper is the lock. Harper is the guy right now in baseball. He took over Trout last year. He's still one of the youngest players in all of baseball, and he was facing a weak righty in Teheran. Harper was basically a lock the same way that Kershaw was. So if you didn't just lock him into your lineup, you were playing contrarian from the start. So let's look at. I think it's interesting that Marlon Bird's on Cleveland now. Very interesting. Raji Davis is a guy who mashes lefties. So against Price, I would take Raji, no problem, but I wouldn't look to pick on Price. When you're talking about elite players, right? You have an elite lefty. They're going to shut down most of the players they face. But sometimes, there are players they're just good with the angle of release coming from lefties as a righty. So if they could just get a good ball on it, they could take it yard or they could get extra bases hits. And that's all you need. You can get a single swing that could make or break your night. Raji Davis hits a triple off him and then scores. You're looking good, especially on the small slate. Wesley Castillo, I actually don't know anything about him. So I would have to look into him. So sorry for that, guys, but that's just someone I don't know about. Colin Cowgill, I used him on the A's last year. He's good. He's like he's kind of like a Cole Calhoun, I guess, but from the right side of the plate. If you know Cole Calhoun, he has a nice swing. He makes pretty decent contact, but he's not a great player. But at 2,000 minimum, if you can get him in a stack, I mean, this is if he's playing, and he should be, just because, I mean, Lonnie Chisenhall was listed as a third baseman. He's out there. They only have 3 listed. If you get Calgo in a stack and he hits a home run off Price, you could be looking to jump up in the rankings. I'm not saying to use him because I want to look into the numbers more, but I'm saying if you get a guy like that at $2,000, I wouldn't just play him to play him, but if I'm doing a couple Cleveland stacks or something, trying to pick on Price, just for like a low end GPP or something like that, I would throw him in there, no doubt. So let's move on to, I don't know why I didn't start here, but now we're going to both my New York teams. So I'm a New York boy, born and raised, and I'm a Yankees fan, but I cheer for the Mets. But it's hard. It's very hard for me on opening day. It was supposed to be today, but it's very hard for me to pick a pitcher against my Yankees when it's opening day. So with that said, Keuchel is a really good pitcher. He is a great ground ball pitcher. He knows how to get people to put the ball on the ground, which is good for his infielders, easier plays. He does have okay strikeout upside, but it is not great. He has been improving it, and he is someone that I think will be doing well for the whole season. So definitely keep eyes on him. Tanaka, he's very boom or bust for me. He won my friend a lot of money when we first started, so we love Tanaka to start. But one thing we realized about him is he actually gives up early home runs for whatever reason. Almost every time I watch him, he gives up a home run in the first or second inning, and then for the most part settles down. But so if I were going to take players against him, I'd try and make sure they were in the 1 through 6 batting order. I don't mind taking players at the bottom of batting orders. Most people recommend the top 6 anyway, but if I were going to pick on him in any way, that's where I would go. But I'm pretty sure Houston should be stacked from top to bottom. So let's take a look at that. But we'll go right into if we're talking about Keuchel pitching, we are going to look at McCann. Now that's lefty on lefty. If you're new, that's not good. I know what happened today where Jeanette and Cano both hit home runs off lefties. Not only that, they both hit home runs off really good lefties. So that isn't something that happens often. That is not something I would count on very often. That is not something I would pick on or try to use almost ever, unless you're just trying to be contrarian. It's just not optimal. If you read any of John Bale's stuff, very bright guy, talks about a lot of stuff like that, and he actually has like graphs and statistics weighing it in. It's just not a good thing to do. With that said, short porch and right, McCann loves to have that uppercut swing. If he does get a hold of one, it can go out, but I wouldn't be looking at him. Jason Castro going against Tanaka, yes. Yes, definitely. So Tanaka, he gets balls lifted on him sometimes, especially at home. And if you have Jason Castro get a good swing on him with that short right porch, and it looks like he's been hitting pretty well. So this is someone I would say is probably on a bit of a hot streak. He has only 2 games in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 out of his last 8 games, he doesn't have a hit. He went 0 for 2 in this game, only 2 at bats, and he went 0 for 3 here. Now in the rest of them, he had 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1. Hit 1 home run. I don't know if that I don't know who that was even against. So it's hard to measure anything when it comes to terms of like power. But I think when you're looking at hits, you could really see if someone's seeing the ball well. Yes, please. Let me just get him in there. He's going to be probably one of my favorite catchers on the slate, if not my favorite, especially when we look at I mean, I love Darno and Perez, but those are who's pitching there? Syndergaard and Young. Ooh, we could definitely talk about Chris Young. And Chris Young, I believe that is a revenge game. No, wrong one. I think he might have been on the Yankees then. All right, so looking at this, we got first baseman, Tex. He's a switch hitter. I'm pretty sure he hits power better as a righty against lefties, but he can go yard in that stadium from either side. But like I said, Keuchel keeps the ball on the ground pretty well. But I like Tex. He's definitely in consideration for me. And I'm just looking through the slate for the first time, guys. So I don't even have any prior knowledge about this. That's why I keep jumping around. But Tyler White, I have no idea who he is. Definitely gonna look into him a bit more. He's a righty. I don't know if he has reverse splits, which means righty against righty, or he's good there, lefty against lefty. It looks like they have 3. I don't know why they have a Matt Duffy there. Someone in my squad, I think Joe, analytics. He had this Matt Duffy pop up in one of his lineup or a couple of his lineups because he was using an optimizer and saw the Duffy name. It was like, why the hell is there a Duffy on Houston? So he took him out and put in the other one, thank God. But and Duffy had a great night. So we have Marwin Gonzalez. This is very interesting because I'm used to seeing Chris Carter there. Where did Chris Carter go? Chris Carter's on the Brewers. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I think I did see his name in the list today. I didn't think it was him though. But all right, so I'm used to looking there, and I think there was a guy, John Singleton, who was on the Astros. Yeah, I guess he's not there anymore. But all right, so we got three new guys that I'm looking at here for the Astros. I don't know anything about any of them. This is a switch hitter, but it looks like Tyler White has been getting the most at bats. He's had a decent game log. He had a hit in his last four games playing. Well, there's a 1-for-1 here. This game, 0-for-1, maybe one at bat each. I don't know. Gotta look into him. Jose Altuve, one of the most consistent hitters in the majors, one of the best with stolen base upside. He is someone I will take all the time, and his price will get up to the mid 4,000s. So you want to take him now while you can. I don't know if this is the best matchup to take him at, but like I said, he is one of the most consistent. So you can take him and for the most part not have to worry. Starlin Castro, he's a player I liked when he was on the Cubs. I don't know if I like him here, but he's definitely an improvement from what we had. So I'm going to welcome Starlin Castro. I'm very excited to see what he's going to do for us. I just don't know how he's going to fit per se. But he's a young kid. He's got some potential. So let's see. I don't know what his splits are. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know where in the lineup they're going to be putting him. Let's move on to third base. We have A-Rod. Everybody knows A-Rod. If you don't play baseball, you know A-Rod. He had a really good season last year. Let's look. 33 home runs in 150 games. 86 RBIs, 83 runs, and 84 walks. Now, I'm assuming a lot of those were intentional walks. I don't think he's a guy that's going to be really up there trying to walk. But with that said, against Keuchel, he probably has some of the highest home run upside on the entire slate. If there's anybody who can put the ball in the air against Keuchel, it is him. So looking at all of the third basemen, I don't know how I would rank him, but right now he probably wouldn't be at the top just because of how Keuchel is, but I'm going to be stacking the Yankees tomorrow, no doubt. You can pretty much assume I'm going to stack almost all these teams tomorrow, the way that I'm going to play it, just because that's the way I like to do. And, like, you could stack multiple teams on the same lineup. So, what I like to do is I'll do mini stacks. I'll do one large stack and a couple randoms. And so I'll show you guys a few different types of lineup construction. Only player I've ever heard of. That's funny. So let's stick with this. And we have Luis Valbuena. Luis Valbuena actually won me a decent amount of money last year because he went through a hot streak. And it was a definite hot streak. He really killed it. The Rockies scoring right now? Is that what everyone's saying? What's happening? I gotta check that real quick. But let's keep this moving. So Luis Valbuena, he's a home run guy. He's a jacket in the air guy. He's going to try and hit a home run almost every time he's at bat. He had 25 home runs last year. I think he had a couple multi-home run games, but he had a string where he just really crushed it a few days in a row. Headley's a switch hitter. He came over from, I think he was on the Padres? Headley. Yeah, I think he was on the Padres. Switch hitter. He came over, played well last year. He's going to be playing a decent amount and having A-Rod DH or something like that. So that's what I'm going to be expecting. Carlos Correa is one of the best young players in the entire league. If you don't know about him, you better recognize his salary starting off at $4,300. In 99 games, he had 22 home runs, which is almost what A-Rod had in 150. He had 14 stolen bases in 99 games, and he had 22 doubles. That's a great stat line right there for a rookie in less than 100 games, and his price is all the way up there. So you can trust that he's going to be good this year. I don't think Tanaka really has it anymore, to be honest. After watching him, he may have a resurgence this year. He may just have needed time to come back from his injury, but I'm gonna pick on him. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with some of the Houston guys. There's a lot of home run upside in that park. I'm gonna be stacking Houston hard tomorrow. So I'm it sucks to say, but like I'm going against my Yankees. It's hard to pick Keuchel to go against my Yankees, but I'm gonna stack the shit out of Houston tomorrow. I may have everybody on their roster on my lineup. So you can bet that if you want to ask me tomorrow, you can look at my lineups. They'll be on there. So you got Correa, who's a stud, and you got Didi. I like Didi. He was on Arizona. He didn't really fit in that well there. They had Owings and Ahmed in that infield, so they were kind of pushing him out. He came over and played well for the Yankees last year. It looks like he hasn't had a hit in 6 games, and he's going against Keuchel. So I'd basically just stay away tomorrow, even on a small slate. And then let's hop into the outfield. So this is what I do when I go through baseball. I literally just watch. I go through every single player. I go through every lineup. I know all these guys, but I'm just doing this for you. I'll click on them. Usually, just look at the game log recently, and then I'll just straight up go into Fangraphs, look at all the different splits for the pitchers and whatever. But we're gonna get into that. So I have this starting pitchers stuff here. I have the hitters sheets here for all the lefty and right-handed matchups for tomorrow. So I'm gonna maybe go over that tomorrow or something. I don't know. I don't know if I'll have time to do that, but I'll show you guys quick so you could see who the top ones are or something. So when it comes to outfield, all right. So let's go to the Yankees. We have Jacoby. That's going to be lefty on lefty. He's actually not terrible against lefties. But like I said, I don't really want to pick on Keuchel. He's great with the ground ball. He can make people miss. So I'm not huge on the Yankee bats tomorrow. But if I was going to take someone, it'd probably be A-Rod and Beltran. I like Beltran. He has big power upside. He's been playing well as of late since last year coming on. He's a switch hitter. So I don't mind taking Beltran. They'll probably be mini stacks for me tomorrow. So I'll probably do like this. Have him and then have him. And so that's what I'll call a mini stack. So if I wanted to do a Houston stack, and I'll just throw this out there, not something I'm gonna use, but just if I wanted to, let me just take Chris Young to have some money to work around with. Then I'd go Springer. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I have 5. Let's get that out here. Then I have 1, 2, and then I'll do like a Hosmer and like Kane or something like that. And see where it could go up to. Nowhere. So let's just say this fit, or if we thought Chris Young was going to have an unbelievable day against the Mets or something like that, or not even unbelievable. I guess at that price tag, he's the cheapest by far. Everyone's double him. So if you wanted to punt against the Mets, who, they've come alive as of late, but we'll talk about that when they get to them. So this is how I do mini stacks. Sometimes I'll stack a team that I like. I'll go Houston across the board, and I actually kind of do like this. But if I did it, I would maybe have to go like, let's say I wanted to go Kluber. Is there anyone for 0 on their team? No. All right, so maybe I would go, let's just say Lagares. Right, so those are mini stacks. Yankees, no, that doesn't make sense. So let's go do it just for argument's sake. wouldn't do that. All right, so this actually isn't even a terrible lineup. Got a little bit of my New York boys and Houston. Let me actually lock that in. I probably will use that, to be honest. Lagares will probably get a hit off Chris Young. Yeah, that's a very high upside lineup, actually. All right. Well, could we do anything there? I could go Hosmer. We'll see. We'll see. I will probably enter this with Duda and with Hosmer, and then like change it around a little bit. But let's just keep those mini stacks for argument's sake. So I have Kluber with probably the highest K upside on the board, just in terms of him as a pitcher. Upside with home run going against Tanaka, short right porch. We haven't gotten to that yet, but going against fastball Chris Young. Jose Altuve is an animal. Alex Rodriguez against a lefty. Not a great matchup, but tons of pop and upside. Carlos Correa, one of the best shortstop in the game. Beltran, switch hitter going against Keuchel, but he has home run upside. Then we have George Springer, home run and stolen base upside. And then Lagares is a punt play looking for a hit or two. So let's go back in and keep looking through here. So that's just showing you guys a little mini stack that I would do. Let's keep looking. Take that away, not to distract us. Like I get distracted fairly easy. I just love talking about it. So let's see. Trout's pretty good. Yeah, I heard Trout's all right. Yeah, let's put the link out there again. Actually, not even going to. I have to get off a little. Ooh, looks like my teams are coming alive a little bit. Got some late Arizona stacks in there. Ooh, I like that. So, where were we? Going in here, we have Jacosby, Beltran, and Jacosby. That's what I'm calling it from now on, Jacosby. We have Brett Gardner, not a great matchup. Aaron Hicks, I'm very interested to see what he's going to do. He had a good year last year for Minnesota. Switch hitter, can hit almost anywhere in the lineup. I like him. I like him a lot. Not against Keuchel per se, but if I did a Yankee stack and I knew he was playing, I'd probably throw him in. Mason Williams, don't know who you are. Dustin Ackley was on Seattle last year. I wouldn't use him at all in this matchup, like at all. Won't be on a single lineup. Preston Tucker, I love me some Preston Tucker. He had a good year last year. For what we expected of him, actually, he had an up and down year, but when he was up, he was crushing the ball for me. I stacked Houston a lot last year, and for some reason, he was always low owned. He would always have a home run in a game. He hit a couple multi-home run games, and he was always low owned. He's at 2,400. I think he's going to go overlooked still this year until people really catch on. So hop on him now. He will definitely be a part of my Houston stacks tomorrow. Jacob Marisnick. This guy, he has stolen base upside like crazy. He has 24 stolen bases in 133 games. He is a good player. Houston's gonna be looking to make a run if they could get some pitching. Just because of they have a lot of young talent who they play balls to the wall. Did he sprain his ankle? Returned to the lineup, struck out in his 2 at bats Friday. Not played for 3 days after spraining his ankle. All right. Be careful a little bit of that. I mean, he's a righty against a righty in this matchup. He's not my favorite. But let me go back up to here. Colby, he's another guy. He just has upside. All these guys just have home run upside. They, for whatever reason, the Houston in that little box of theirs, they just love home run hitters. So Colby Rasmussen's a big upside guy, lefty on righty. I think Tanaka gives up 2 home runs tomorrow. I don't know who it's to, but I'm willing to bet that he's going to give up 2 home runs to Houston. So let's move on. Did I go through everyone? Yeah. Let's go to the pitching. Cinder Beast. This is Thor. He is an animal, but he's going to be playing against Kansas City. I will not be going to Kurt. Kurt, you never asked me this before? Come on, brother. You should have known by now. You don't live far from me. All right, so Thor is an animal, but he's going against Kansas City. I love Kansas City bats. I think they're super patient. They hit for contact. They take extra bases. They steal. They're smart on the bases. They make a pitcher work for it. Um, I I was all over Kansas City bats. I told everyone not to pick Harvey. I stacked Kansas City. I came out profitable day one. Looks like I'm going to be profitable day two again. So MLB is looking good so far to start. I know I'm going to cash big in a GPP soon. It was looking like that last night, but I just needed maybe a home run, and I would have been in the top 1% of GPPs. So we're looking at some big things coming. Me and CG have these sheets we're working on, so things are looking good. Hold on one sec. So Chris Young, he is a fastball pitcher. He is going to try to throw it past you as hard as he can. He's big as shit, though. I think he's like 7 foot. 6'10". He's a big dude. He's pretty intimidating on the mound, but when that ball's coming in, if you can get a good uppercut on that ball, people get lift off on him. So I mean, he's super cheap, but when it comes to the Mets, you never know what Mets team you're going to get, right? So you can get the Mets team that hits 7 home runs in a game, that is just everything is just working easy for them. Their pitching is flawless. You can also get the Mets where they have 12, 13 strikeouts. Nobody can see the ball. They're getting 0 run support, even if they do have some decent pitching. So you never know what you're going to get. So I could make a case for taking Chris Young tomorrow. It would more than likely be a mix and match of players, like expensive players, like just paying up or something like that. I don't think I would just go straight stack and leave a ton of money on the table. I think I would go just like go get them, go get the best players I can. So let's just say we wanted to do some shit like that. I could even go up probably. No, those are the most expensive. You could literally take the most expensive people on the board going with him and still have money left over. So if you want to go with him, this is probably the lineup that's going to be put in by a ton of people. You would have to pivot in a whole bunch of spots. I don't know if I see the upside when I have Kluber that I can just go all in on. I could use a little bit of Price. I can use a little bit of Keuchel. I don't know if I'd go Syndergaard against Kansas City. Houston, one thing about them that I forgot to mention, not only do they have crazy home run upside, they have crazy strikeout upside. So I'm not going to compare them to the Mets because they're a completely different team, but they're looking to hit the long ball. So you can get balls past them. Tanaka, I don't think he usually does well, like very early in the season. I could be wrong. I'd have to look it up. But I would rather just go Kluber, like almost everywhere, and just make all my lineups around Kluber. So if anyone has any questions. Matt, I have a website that lets you watch any game you want from any single sport. So if you go here, it's stream-to-watch.co/live now/sports/baseball. So this has every single game right here. So this is how you would do it. Some people get confused. I have a pop-up blocker on. So I recommend getting it. It's called AdBlock, the extension. I recommend it for your extensions regardless. So it takes ads off, but especially for this website, because if you don't, let me show you what will happen. Look, you'll be seeing all these different things popping up. So I definitely recommend getting this ad blocker. Look at the difference. Bang. Clean, everything's good. Play now. Close. You wait till this to get to 5. And we're in. So I'm actually just going to leave that going in the background. All right. So we're almost done. I'll just breeze through here. Perez against Syndergaard, I could see it. Syndergaard throws a lot of fastballs down the middle. He throws a lot of 99, 100 miles per hour fastballs, but Perez can tag him. I could see Perez getting some hits off him. Darno, he's someone I usually would take in a good matchup. I don't know if I'll take him tomorrow. Now that I said that, he'll probably hit a home run. So if you want a home run out of him, take him, but I'm not going to be using him. So we have Hosmer. I am definitely going to take Hosmer. I was on him yesterday, 3 for 4. I love Hosmer. He's one of my favorite first basemen in the entire league to take. Morales, you're looking at pure home run upside for the most part. He's a switch hitter, but you're taking him hoping for home run upside, because I'm taking Hosmer for contact, hits, that 3 for 4 batting average to start the season. So Duda against Chris Young, I'll take him. Duda, he just looks to jack the ball down the right field line. He's not really looking to go oppo. Chris Young is going to be throwing hard balls down the middle. Duda is either going to go like 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, or 1 or 2 for 3 with a home run. It's just the way Duda plays. Neil Walker, new addition to Kansas City. I don't have much of an opinion yet on him. I know he was pretty decent in Pittsburgh, but I didn't use him much in Pittsburgh because I was always on McCutchen, Polanco, Marte, and Harrison, and Russell Martin when he was there. Omar Infante against Syndergaard. He's been playing pretty decently. That's a good game log. I don't know. I would have to look at his splits against righties. Christian Colon, I don't really know anything about him at all. Moustakas, I will definitely have some Moustakas. He disappointed me yesterday. I was on him yesterday. I'm going to go back to him. I love playing some Moustakas. I don't like David Wright almost ever. He's one of those players for me. Campbell hit a home run the other day. Had a couple hits here. Not a big fan. Probably staying away for the most part. It seems like I'm not going to be on the Mets infielders. Asdrubal, no, I'm not a big fan of him or Flores. Alcides, I'll definitely have a couple shares of. He's another guy who he has hit and contact upside. He has walk upside and stolen base upside. He leads off, and you get him for almost minimum price. We have, if we're looking at the Kansas City side, we have Kane, stolen base upside, power upside. I had him yesterday. We are looking at Alex Gordon. I had him yesterday. He went 1 for 4, RBI and a run, but he didn't produce that till one of his last at-bats, so he was a little shaky, but I use him all the time. He doesn't have a single negative game in his last 10 at-bats. All right, finish up here. And guys, that's how I do a lot of my tweets, if you watch. So right there, like the way I just put that out, like if you see, like I look at like you see I put out a narrative or whatever, or a birthday or something like that, it doesn't mean I'm using the player. It just means I'm just showing something that I found. So let's finish up. We have Dyson, who's out. Power Orlando, I like him against lefties. He has big power and speed upside, but he's not an everyday player. Don't know who this guy is. Don't know who this guy is. Mets. Cespedes. I had him yesterday. He got 9 points for me. That was good. I don't know really what I should be expecting. I mean, that's 3 points normally, which, you know what, I actually see that as not that good, 3 points. So I guess 9 is he did decent. So the 9 is going to be my, he did decent. Anything less than that, you didn't have a good game. Conforto, I like him a lot. He went 2 for 2 with 2 walks and a double yesterday. That's a great line for 2,500. He's an up-and-comer. He is a real good player. I'm going to have shares of him tomorrow. If I stack the Mets, it's going to be with these outfielders, the lefty outfielders, Duda. Oh my God, I would love Murphy there. That's what I used to do last year. It would be Duda, Granderson, Conforto, and Murphy. Like that was a stack for me last year. De Aza, I liked him on Baltimore. I don't know how he'll do tomorrow. He was 0 for 1 and then he didn't play. Or he maybe came in to the game later. So, all right, look to see if he's starting. Lagares, he's a player that you look at to get a hit. So whenever I play him, I am literally looking for a hit. He is someone that I put in at the end of a lineup just to, give myself just, all right, I need someone almost at bare minimum. That's who I'm going to play. So guys, thank you very much for watching. That was just a quick rundown of just that early slate. I didn't look at the slate yet. That was just me going through it for tomorrow because I wanted to get it ahead of time, and I figure when I do stuff like that, I'll just put it live for you guys. Does anybody have any quick questions? And he said, I don't know who that guy. All right, I'm gonna hop off. I'm actually going to chat with Evan Silva. If you are on Roto World Football, Evan Silva. He's a senior. He's the senior editor for Roto World Football. He has 100,000 followers on Twitter, and he's a real good guy. I talk to him all the time, and me and him stay in constant contact since we met at the Roto Grinders conference. So I'm going to chat with him for a bit. Guys, hit me up on Twitter, and good luck tonight and tomorrow, everybody, and hit me up with any questions. Peace.